Oh, all right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for Discover Refresher training for the Ned Mining Museum volunteers and the Ag Heritage Center Critter Caretaker volunteers. And let's go around just quickly and introduce ourselves and say what we do. I think everybody pretty much knows each other, but maybe not. So, no. And I am Cheryl Kippen. I'm the Cultural History Program Coordinator. And right now I'm at the Agricultural Heritage Center. So let's see, I'm going to just go around my squares here, and I think I have Austin next.
I'm Austin, and I take care of the livestock at the Agriculture Center, and mow, take care of the lawn and landscaping. Sure.
All right, David, how about you? You may be on mute, Dave. I'm not sure. We can't hear you. Okay, well, we'll go on to Peggy, and I bet David will get his technology figured out. We all do eventually, don't we, Austin? Okay, Peggy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Peggy Melchow-Sass. I work at the Agricultural Heritage Center. I volunteer there. I work in the garden by myself this year so far, except with Pete's help. And I'm a critter caretaker, and when I'm allowed to, I work in the office a little bit too.
All right, Joe, how about you?
Hi, I'm Joe McBreen. I volunteer at the Agricultural Heritage Center. I try to do as good a job as Austin does in feeding the critters, and also tour guide.
Great. All right, Rachel.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Shearer, and I'm the seasonal Nederland Mining Museum coordinator. And I was in 2019 and had a year off. Not really sure why. No, of course we know why. But I hope everybody had a good year last year, and I'm happy to be back as the seasonal coordinator. And
uh-oh, my phones are ringing. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Dave, if you're able to introduce yourself, go for it. Introduce ourselves.
Seasonal Nederland Mining Museum coordinator, and I was in 2019, had a year off. So David, it looks like, or it sounds like we're having some audio issues. I remember when we did the refresher training for the Mining Museum volunteers, I think you had to disconnect and call back in perhaps. I don't know if you want to try that. So it looks like Cheryl's taking that call. So Peggy, I was going to ask you, is it often that they allow you inside the office?
I can't pick it up. You were asking me?
Yes.
Well, this past year, volunteers haven't been allowed. The office is inside the farmhouse, and the farmhouse has been closed.
Right.
I've been able to go in and use the restroom, but I haven't. I think we're now allowed to work in the office if a staff member is there. They were only allowing one person in the office at a time, and it was always a staff member.
It was always a staff member.
I worked on the inventory, and that's perfect. I had to think a minute what the software was.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to do that for 15 months.
Right. Right. Yeah, last year I was I was a park ambassador is what they called the position. And so I was at Patasso, Caribou, and Mud Lake were the
Oh,
properties I was assigned. Yeah, and I don't know if you saw my counterparts at other properties, but we just kind of hung out at the trailhead and asked people to wear, face coverings when they were passing other people on the trails. And I know Boulder County saw a huge increase in the trail usage, especially when the gyms were closed,
yeah.
when everything first shut down. And so, that the new users in combination with all the people who moved to Colorado recently, we had a lot of people with questions, and so it was fun. It got me out, and I got to interact with a lot of Boulder County residents and everybody when they're coming to enjoy the open spaces. They're always pleasant and in a very good mood, and so it was very rewarding in that respect. So
Neat.
it looks like we have a Jim, not Jim Drew, but Jim Voot joining us.
Yes, Jim Voight. He is a
Voight.
caretaker. Yep.
Okay.
One
I
Jim.
I think David's going to try to dial back in because he was having the same problems as he was when we did the museum volunteer refresher training. So.
Sure, sure. All right. And I see Jim. You want to introduce yourself if you've got sound? I know you're connecting on your phone, so I know it'll be a little different.
See if you can talk now. Ask if they can hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So I can hear you now too as well. Thank you.
Good. And we're just saying our name and where we volunteer. So Jim.
Oh, Jim Vogt at the Agricultural Heritage Center,
There you
feeding the chickens.
Okay. Well, David's trying to get back in. So we'll give him a minute or two. Hopefully he'll be able to. Some days it's more of a challenge than others.
Well, thank you so much for getting me in.
Sure.
Do we have any animals lined up yet?
We have some coming on Monday. So.
Oh, good.
Neat.
And there's an
Who's-
exhibit
Who's
installed
coming on Monday?
right now. So.
Who's coming?
I think chickens and I think the minis are coming and I can't remember.
Oh,
what else. So,
I miss the animal.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I was going crazy with seeing them.
Yeah, it'll be good to see them and they're going to like the pens the way they are now because the grass is really high in the pens. It's going to be okay for them for a while. So,
Yeah, nice grazing for them.
Yeah.
we may not need to feed them much for a little while, huh?
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see if Lily has another calf.
Right.
Yeah,
I
me
think we would
too.
have heard, but I don't know. We might not have heard. So she gives us surprises, doesn't she?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess see what August brings.
Right.
That'd be neat if she had another one.
Yep. Okay, well, let's get going and I'm sure we can catch Dave up. So, all right. Well, first of all, I think we should just kind of start at the beginning with Discover and logging in. And usually that's not too big of a problem, but once in a while it gives us fits. And so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to have everybody probably keep their microphones on during this if you want. Because then if my screen doesn't share, you can let me know. Or if you have a question, you can just ask. So it's up to you, but I don't mind you having your microphones on because then I know somebody's out there. Because when I put my screen up, it makes it seem like there's nobody there at all. So if I hear you make comments, then that helps me a little bit. So, and Rachel, if you can keep your chat open, that would be great. Because if somebody types something into the chat, I won't be able to see it when my screen comes up, I don't think. But then you can catch us up with it. So. All right, let's go to Discover here. Okay. Did it come up for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Great. All right, so probably first of all, and probably you guys already know this, a good tip to keep Discover in mind and easy for us is to bookmark it. And so, you know, that discover.bouldercountyopenSpace.org, every browser is a little different, but usually you can kind of go over to the right-hand side of your browser, and I hit these 3 dots.
Oh,
Then I can go down to bookmarks and I can bookmark it. It's already bookmarked for me, so I won't do it again. But then you can bookmark it and then you can find it real easy and you don't have to do a Google search or you don't have to scramble around to type it in. And
that's good for me.
it is good. And another thing to do is once you log in, if you leave your computer turned on, sometimes even if you turn it off, but you stay logged in and you don't close out and you don't log out, it'll keep you logged in. And so that way too, you might not always, when you want to use your computer, have to log in either. You might just be able to go to Discover, go to that bookmark, and you'll already be in there. So that's something that kind of helps us too. So I am going to log in, and I'm going to log into an account that I have that's not my Boulder County work account, because it looks a little different from what you guys see. But this is going to look a little bit more like what you all see and what your screens see, so it doesn't confuse us all. So, all right. I'm going to use my home email and put in my password. Now, if you forget your password or you want to reset it for some reason, then you can always go to this little forgot password area down here and click on it, and it will send you an email to reset your password. So that's a way if you just can't type in your password right somehow, or it says you're not, or if you forget your password, then it's pretty easy to get it reset, as long as you still use and have the same email address you registered with Discover, and you probably would. So, all right, now I'm going to type in, and I don't always get this right, so let's see. All right, we'll see. And when you're logging in, you guys probably know it makes that little no symbol. Just like you can't do anything, but at least it means it's doing something. So that's a good thing. All right, I have a few notes here to make sure we talk about everything. Let's see here. Let's go to the profile first. This is kind of your home page and your dashboard. We're going to go to the profile first because that's kind of an important page for us. Up here at the top, there are tabs that take you places. So, all right. So the profile is kind of the page that tells about you. And the most important things on your profile to always have up to date is your address and your telephone number, and of course your email address. So I'm going to go into edit because I see my phone number is not right. So I'm going to go into edit and I'm going to edit that. So, and this is signed up under my maiden name before I was married. So that's why it's Cheryl Beck. So I'm going to get rid of that phone number. And I'm going to put in another one, my mobile number. Oops, and it's not even going to the right spot because you know how it is. Okay. All right. And I'm going to hit that as the primary number. And then, of course, we'd want to make sure you have your address filled in. I don't, but I'll fill it in for the next training. So that's what I'll fill in for that one. Your email address. You don't have to get your driver's license or your education level or your t-shirt size, but you will want to hit save to save what you enter and what you change. And that's true of a lot of the pages on Discover. You know, you might enter something way at the top and then you think you're all set and you go away from that page, but then you come back and it's not there. And it's because you didn't go all the way down to the bottom and hit save. And I've done it lots of times. So just kind of make sure anytime you enter something on Discover that you go down to the bottom of the screen you're on and see if it has a save and hit that green save button to make sure that you didn't waste all that effort that you put in, just entering what you entered. And it's there. So, all right. So then let's see, my preferences. So you can go into that page and you can take a look. And so you can have a volunteer biography if you want to. And I don't have one yet, but it tells a little bit about you and a little bit about your background and maybe kind of what you like to do as a volunteer. So, you know, you can put a biography that you can show that volunteers can see when you're scheduled to volunteer. So if Peggy entered hers and Peggy and Austin were going to volunteer at the same time, she would be able to, he would be able to see hers and learn a little bit about her. You also can choose whether the public can view it. So if you signed up for an event, maybe Joe signs up to lead a tour, and the teacher that booked that tour has her email address and is registered in Discover, then that teacher would be able to see Joe's information and that he was going to lead the tour and a little bit about him. But you don't have to choose those. You can uncheck those if you want to. You can decide what you would like people to see. And then for skills and interests and target age groups, we don't check anything, because sometimes we've found that if you check something, it excludes you from getting emails about other opportunities that you really would like to do. I don't know why it does that, but computers, they're sometimes not very cooperative in the ways we'd like them to be. So I haven't checked anything because I want to make sure that I get everything that I would like. And the same thing with open space preferences. Sometimes if you check something, it somehow doesn't give you the things you'd like to hear about. And we are not going to check anything with email opt-out for the same reason. Sometimes you accidentally check something and it triggers so you don't get an email that's a reminder, say, of a training like this. So you miss out. And here again is that save at the bottom of the page. So I am going to hit that, even though I don't know if I made any changes. And one thing here, let's see if I can go over. Okay. Okay, it took me back to the other page. One thing here that is important to make sure that you keep up to date is your emergency contact. And I think maybe it was under preferences. Let me look. Yes. And so you'll want to make sure that you put an emergency contact name. And somehow Michael Dallin at the Ned Mining Museum is right there, but I am going to put my husband's name. And for the training, the next time I'm going to put his phone number in there. But just make sure, because that way, if sometime you're volunteering and, oh my gosh, Peggy twisted her ankle, we'll want to be able to call somebody for her and let them know. Or maybe sometimes somebody, you don't show up and we can't track you down. We might want to call that person and just say, hey, where is Austin? He didn't show up to his volunteer shift and we were really sure he was going to. And, so if we're worried about you, we want to make sure that we can find you. And I'm going to hit save there as well. All right. Okay, and that's where your volunteer bio would appear if you decide to put that in and choose that. And then all those things that you selected, but that we're not going to select. All right, let me take a look. You can add a photograph of yourself if you want to. And so you could put a photo of yourself so you can think about whether you want to do that. And let's see. Let's go now to shifts. We'll skip calendar, but we'll cover that too. And I think you guys are all pretty good at entering shifts, but we'll do that. All right. And so we do have critter caretaker shifts entered. We have June Mining Museum shifts entered as well. And so let's see. If we were gonna, we'll just pick the first one. If we were gonna go in and we were gonna volunteer, let's see. It is not showing up the way. I'm going to move our faces on the screen because it's not showing up. Oh, there we go. There's that purple volunteer button that I couldn't see with us there, our pictures there. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to volunteer for an afternoon critter caretaker shift, or whichever one you select that shows up for you, opportunities that aren't in the categories that you volunteer for won't show up for you. And so Ned Mining Museum people, you won't see all this stuff about critter caretakers when you log in and look at your shifts. And critter caretakers, you won't see the Ned Mining Museum information when you log in, unless somehow you volunteer for both. And I don't think we have anybody here who does. So that's good. It makes it less confusing for us all.
Gerald?
That's what I was just going to chime in and say,
Yes.
unless you guys want to volunteer at the Mining Museum.
It's not
Could
there today.
Could you say again how to get to shifts?
Yeah, just up on this little, all these little tabs up at the top of your page on Discover, there is the one that's called Shift.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. Thank you.
Oh, sure. All right, so I'm going to volunteer for an afternoon critter caretaker shift. I'm going to click on that hand that says volunteer. We'll see what happens. Right now, it's not doing anything. Ah, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to.
Sleeping.
Yeah, it is. It's too hot. I'm going to again. And we can go here. We can see here the days of the week and the dates and the approximate time. And we know for critter caretaking, it's kind of a range of times that we come and feed the animals. And so, that's not an exact time, but that's the evening time that, the range that that the animals kind of like us to come and take care of them during.
Mhm.
And so we can see all those days and all those dates, and they stretch. This page just stretches into July. But you can go down here and you can go on to the other months if you want to and are that ambitious with your schedule.
Mm.
All right. So when you take a look at your own calendar and you decide which days you want to help, then you can select those. So I'm going to choose some Sundays because I'm usually working at the farm on Sundays.
Mm.
All right. So I chose those and I looked at my calendar and know that that's going to work for me. And so then you can go to sign up for slots down at the bottom of the page, that green button. And you hit that.
Mm.
And then it asks me, are you sure you want to sign up for 3 shift slots? And I say, yes, sign up. So I'm going to hit sign up. All right. Okay. And so then it takes me back to my dashboard page, my very beginning page. And let's see if it put it in my assignments. We hope that it did. So, and I see David there on the screen. Very good. All right.
Finally.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Tries it took.
Sometimes it does. Okay, so it did put those there. It put critter caretaking on those Sundays that I signed up for. And I think, but I don't have a way to check it right now, that it will send me an email telling me that too, so that then I can put it into or onto my own calendar. And so we have, and if you want to cancel a shift, and that would be for either critter caretaking or the Ned Mining Museum, because they work the same way. I think up to a certain date before it lets you go in and cancel, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll try that here in a little bit. But also please make sure that you send it or a text my way or Jim's way for the Ag Center or Rachel's way for the Ned Mining Museum if you cancel, because it doesn't tell us that somebody has canceled. And it doesn't tell us somebody signed up. We just have to go in and check Discover every so often. And if, especially for a cancellation, if it's right before the time we expected you, we may not see it in time if we didn't check soon enough. And so those poor critters might be sitting out there wondering where's somebody to feed them. And we might not realize, somebody canceled because they had to go out of town or whatever. So always double check and let us know of a cancellation. All right.
And I was just going to add real quick, Cheryl,
Yeah.
if you made that is something that I needed to remember, that Discover doesn't give notifications, and we're so used to notifications from social media and our phones and everything, but Discover does not notify us once you cancel. It's something we'd have to notice. And so yeah, if you can send us a quick text or an email, that would be greatly appreciated if anything changes.
Yeah. And I am going to look on
Okay.
my email on my phone. And yes, it did send me an email saying that I signed up for 3 critter caretaker shifts. So it will send me an email saying that. So that's good. Now we all know. So, okay.
What?
And you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if it lets me cancel one of these shifts. I'm going to see if it does. Let's see.
What?
Oh, it just looks like it takes me to shifts and lets me sign up again. Let me look at calendar though and see if it will let me cancel one of those shifts. Because then we'll all know if we can do, okay, no, because it wouldn't be on there. Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we'll have to experiment with that, and that's okay. So
I think you
now
clicked on information instead of cancel that
Yeah.
volunteer site. So if you go in again and
sure.
don't click information, click cancel.
Okay. Let me go to my assignments where that was. Okay. And it doesn't.
Don't click more, click remove.
Right. Oh, there. I didn't see the remove. Excellent. All right. I'm going to remove
Oh, yeah.
there. And I'm going to see if it sends me an email saying I did it too. Okay. So,
Yeah.
and we know it's working.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. And so it took it away from my list. And let me see if it sent me an email. We know it won't send Jim and I an email, but it might send you an email who did the canceling. Not yet. So, okay, it may just know that you went in there and canceled and you know you did. So it may count on that. All right. So let's go to shifts again. We'll do a Ned Mining Museum one. All right. And let's do a morning one for that one. I'm going to move our faces because that's right where the volunteer button is.
Mhm.
All right. All right. We'll do a morning shift for the Ned Mining Museum. We're going to go to volunteer, that little hand. And we'll move us again because it's right in front of the dates now. All right. And again, it shows the days of the week for the Ned Mining Museum. It shows those dates. And the Ned Mining Museum morning time is 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And so you can go and you can select. And I know I'm going to be there this Sunday. So I'm for sure going to select that one. And I'll go to sign up for slots. Want to sign up for one slot? And I'm going to say yes. And then again, we know it'll appear on my assignment screen. And right there, it goes up on my assignment screen. All right. And so then to look at the calendar to sign up for other kinds of things that aren't shifts, you can certainly do that. And it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go to calendar up there at the top of the tab at the top. And then you can see what kinds of opportunities are open. And most of our opportunities are this kind of weird pea green color. So some other people get really cool colors, like, the naturalists get this really cool maroon, but ours is easy to remember because it's a little bit less jazzy, but that's okay. We'll take it. It's okay. So, and so those, the things that we can sign up for are show up. And like for Monday, I'm doing this volunteer training again. So if I found that and wanted to sign up and thought, oh, that looks like something I can do, and my calendar's free, go to it. And then it tells you a little bit about it. It tells you the date and the time. It tells you how many slots are available for the different volunteer groups to help out. And it tells you who has signed up. We have somebody that's anonymous. I don't know who that is. So we'll see who shows up at training with me. And then David. And David's here today. So that's okay. Maybe he'll come again, or else he won't be there on Monday. And that's just fine. And so if I wanted to volunteer for that, I looked at my calendar. I saw that, yes, I'm free that time. I'll go to this green volunteer button, hit that. It goes to this other screen. Again, it reviews the day and the time and what it is. And then over here, again, it tells the volunteer groups that can volunteer for that. And I'm going to volunteer for that as a Nederland Mining Museum volunteer. But you have to hit that green volunteer button again. Hitting it the one time doesn't cut it. And I know sometimes that's what happens. People think, oh, I volunteered, but then their name doesn't show up on the roster and they don't get the reminder email. And then like, what happened? And a lot of times it's that, just hitting it once, you think, yeah, I volunteered, but you have to go in and you have to hit it the second time. And so I'll hit it again. And then it brings me back to that first page, and we'll go into assignments. And the Discover Software Refresher for Monday morning appears on there. So, and then it also tells me here who else is going to be there attending with me, so that maybe I'd want to try to get in touch with somebody if I had their email address, and carpool if it wasn't just a Zoom training like it is right now. All right. And it looks like this one, if you can't help, if you can't volunteer, instead of remove, it looks like can't help is the way that you'll cancel that. So I'm going to click on that and we'll see what happens. Oh, it says to contact staff.
Mhm.
I'm going to do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, and it sends Boulder County email. It sends an email, and I'm sure that it's the email that's registered with that volunteer group's account. So, and if not, then our webmaster will get it, and he passes everything on to us all the time. So that works pretty well. All right. So calendar again. We'll go back to that. And now you might see some things that, are for the public that aren't necessarily volunteer opportunities that you are interested in. Like I see this yoga in the park on June the 18th, and I don't know what that is. I think it looks kind of cool. And we'll see if the public's invited, or if I can't click on it, nothing shows up, then that probably means it's for a certain volunteer group or just a certain group. But let's take a look. it looks like the public is invited because it says register. And so I'm looking, oh, it's Friday, June the 18th from 8 to 9. 10 people are coming. Okay. It tells me I need to bring a yoga mat. That sounds kind of interesting. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to do this, but I would hit register if I wanted to register for that. And then I would suspect it probably is like volunteer, and you have to probably hit register one more time to make sure you really matched it and looked at your calendar. And then it would send you an email telling you about it. Since this one doesn't tell you where it is, I'm sure that email would tell you where that's going to be. And probably send you a reminder a day or two before also to give you any other information that you'd want to know. Okay. And if there's something you want to go to and you aren't sure, you see it on here and you think it looks cool, I'm going to see, okay, I'm going to look at this one. Okay, this one, it's already happened. But if it was for a group that you weren't affiliated with, like the volunteer naturalists, then probably it would just show up like this. It would tell you when it was, but it wouldn't have a volunteer or a register button for you. It would just give you the information because it wouldn't be a group that you were affiliated with. So we'll close that. All right. Okay. Let's see what else. Let me take a peek. All right. I'm taking a peek at my notes, and if there's other questions you guys have, please let me know. So
Could you review the dashboard for me?
yes, I will. Okay. Let's go to the dashboard there. Okay. All right. So these tabs at the top are good places to get you places you might need to go or you might want to go. So here's the dashboard. And the to-do items, we haven't talked about this yet, and I don't know what shows up in to-do. And I don't know if you guys have had any experience with it because it's not showing my assignments and not showing my volunteer opportunities. So I think it must be kind of training things, or if you've done an assignment, you know, feedback or surveys or that kind of thing, since it doesn't have my assignments. But it looks like we can view the calendar to go and see about opportunities as well. So that's a way to get to the calendar, as well as the tab up here to get to the calendar. And so you can go to my assignments, and that will show you the opportunities and the shift that you've signed up for. And you scroll down and you can look. And it looks as though also that there's a way you can add these to your calendar if you use an electronic calendar on your computer. So probably if you use an Outlook calendar or maybe a Google calendar, you can add it there. I'm not going to do it because I don't know what it's going to do. But if you guys have used it, then go ahead and use it or experiment with it too. So, you know, but that's a way too that you won't have to write it down or type it in yourself or something. Hopefully there's an easy way that it just adds it to your calendar if you do it on the computer. And let's look at opportunities and see what that says. So that will give you volunteer opportunities that match your volunteer groups that you're, signed up for. And it will give you them. And I think it gives you them in about a 2-week time frame. It doesn't go any further than that, even though we know that they're entered in the future more than that. And so it lets you see what might interest you, what might match with your calendar. So you could go in and you could look at those and sign up. So if I wanted to do an afternoon Nederland Mining Museum shift from opportunities, I would take a look and go there. And then again, it takes me to that page that shows me, the days of the week, the dates, and then the time frame. So I can again select the days that work for me and then go down to sign up for slots to sign up for those times. Okay. Let's go back to dashboard again. Let's see what my activities is. Okay. And my activities should be, instead of volunteer opportunities and volunteer signups that you have, it should be public programs. So like if I had signed up for that yoga in the park, I bet that would show up there as a public event that I had signed up for, not as a volunteer, but as a member of the public to do. And so I bet that kind of thing is going to show up there for you. And I suspect upcoming activities shows you ones that are, within that 2-week time frame that are public events that you might want to sign up for.
But it does not show you your shift assignments, right?
Right, no, because this is just if it's a public event. Your shift
Right.
assignments would be right here in my assignments.
Yeah.
So, and here we can see sign up, and that's what you would hit if you wanted to sign up for one of these opportunities. And we see that, the Foothills Wildflower Hike is already full, so you could go on the wait list for that. And then you could register for Bears in Our Backyard if you wanted to.
Other than here on the dashboard, where does the general public find these general activities?
Our bouldercounty.org webpage has hikes and events calendar. And so it goes to a calendar, and then they can look and see what those things are. And then they can click on it, and it brings them here to be able to sign up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go to that. Yeah, so here are your shifts and your assignments in my assignments rather than my activities. So, yeah. And it does show you, let's see if I can move our faces here again. It does show you the general calendar for the month as well, so that you can kind of see and match it with your calendar, match it with your phone to know the dates as you're, looking at opportunities and looking at things to do. And you can see that I signed up for that Discover Refresher on the 14th. And so it shows that I have something on that day that I signed up for. So, and it looks like I can go to that and I can see what that was. What did I sign up for that day? And it tells me Discover Software Refresher that I signed up for. So, but it looks like it does not do that with shifts. The shifts are a little bit of a different animal. So it looks like it doesn't populate this calendar with those, but it populates your assignments with those. They should be connected, but once in a while, these things aren't connected that seem so easy like they should be. So, okay, let's see. What else? Is there anything else that you guys can think of on Discover that you'd like to know or we'd like to bumble through together?
No.
When is the first day that I need to be signed up for? Is it coming Tuesday?
I am not. Let's look at what the shifts are. Let's take a look. And this is Jim that's talking, right?
Right, and I usually sign up for Tuesday mornings.
Tuesday mornings? Okay, let's look at shifts. Let's see what the first one available is. Because Jim and I talked a little bit about that, but I didn't say, hey, when do people need to start? So let's go into morning. Let's go into volunteer. And well, it looks like Monday's a possibility, but I don't think that early in the morning we're going to have anybody. So they'll be just invisible animals in the morning. But it does look like Tuesday. It does look like Tuesday would be the first one. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll take care of that when we're
Yeah.
off the line here.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Okay, well, I think that's probably fairly good here for Discover, but we can always do something different if we need to. So, all right. And remember, I'm not going to log out because I want to keep it in there. I want to keep logged in so that next time I come back to Discover, I'm in there. So I'm not going to log out. And I am going to stop sharing because I'm going to go to another page here. And I had it up, but I don't think it's up there anymore. So let me try to stop sharing. And I'll go to that and we'll look at that too. Okay. All right.
Cheryl, I don't want to interrupt your
Go ahead.
flow here, but when you were talking about updating the profile, it appeared that you can put in more than one phone number. Is that correct?
You can. You can put in more than one phone number. I think you can put in up to 3. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I recommend that, especially if you're like me and one of those people who has both a landline and a cell phone. I have a real quick funny story from when I was teaching summer camp at the Museum of Nature and Science. This one young man, about 10 or so, he was trying to get his friend's phone number at the end of camp, and he came to me and he's like, yeah, I got a home phone. He didn't understand what a home phone was, and all I figured is he was imagining it was a cell phone that just stayed at the home in the house. It was pretty cute.
Well, some of us I know have been on Ag Heritage Center tours where we talk about the telephone down in the kitchen.
Mhm.
And, a group of kids, will say, you had to pick up the receiver and talk to the operator and tell her what number you wanted to call. And they will say, what's a phone number? Because, they're just used to on the cell phone hitting the picture of grandma or whatever, and they don't have to have her number memorized. And so then we old tour guides have to say, well, that's one of the first things you would learn when you went to school was what your home telephone number was. And, some of us will rattle off our phone number from, 40 years ago, and we still know it to this day. So
Mhm.
it's just something you don't have to know. And also I heard on TV a few weeks ago that there's, and maybe it was longer ago than this, that, kind of if you make a sign for talking on the phone, maybe we'll do something like this where you hold the receiver to our ear, kind of like this. But now supposedly, and I'm not seeing anyone do this except on that news story, now it's just flat and you just go like this. So I don't know,
I like this
play
better.
telephone. Yeah, that's usually how
Yeah.
you play telephone. Yeah, right. And like that for the old ones. But now I guess when you play telephone, you go like this, or maybe you even go like this because you're just doing speakerphone, I don't
Yeah,
know.
or FaceTime or something. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. So
Times
all right.
change.
They do.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go now to our volunteer resources page for the cultural history volunteers. And I've shared this in the newsletter, but I don't know, if you've actually seen it. And maybe you have. So I'm going to go to that and we're going to take a look. Oh, okay. I had this. I'm going to wait.
How do you get there, Cheryl?
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to do. And I realized I had it open for something I was sharing with Rachel earlier. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to share my screen with you guys because I went and had to do a little something different with it to get there. You go to, all right, our faces are in the way again. You go to Boulder County openspace.org/cultural history/. And I'm going to put that in the chat. It'll let me. Oh, it won't let me. Okay. I will email it to you guys later. Let's do that.
And be better.
I think so. I think it will be better. Okay. So the first thing it does when you go there, it asks if you're a volunteer. And of course we are. So that's good. We can hit yes. So you hit yes. And then it has some places that you can go. It does open, it does let you go to Discover from here. So if somehow you didn't bookmark it or you can't Google it and you can't find it, you can get to Discover from here. It also has our Cultural History Corner newsletters that we send you guys by email about once a month. It has those there, but they only go back to January of 2020. Rachel and I discovered this afternoon. So we were kind of disappointed in that because we wanted to go a little further back, but that's what it has somehow. And there are some other useful things that you can find. Some documents and videos. So quite a few things for the Agricultural Heritage Center. So, probably for critter caretakers, livestock care would be something that would be useful. Now I know this sheet's not up to date to this year, but I'm sure Jim will be updating it soon when the animals arrive. So you click on that and a document comes up with livestock care instructions and different, just kind of our basics about what we do and what animals are there. And, that kind of stuff. And then a little bit about grooming, if that's something that you do in pen mucking, and then just some notes and some hints and some telephone numbers and that kind of thing. And we can see our numbers are old because we have Amy's number on here and we'll need to have Pete's number on instead for this year. So, all right, let me see if it'll click that away. And then if we're going to, be helping with tours at the Ag Heritage Center, we have some, some other things that would be useful for us to review for that. Volunteer handbook, maybe reviewing some of the things that the students and the teachers get before they come, and that kind of thing would be helpful, before we start doing tours again. We don't know when that's going to be because I don't know when they're going to let the schools out for field trips. So I think they're going to have to be at those desks for an awful lot since they've gotten a little behind here lately. So.
Yeah.
And then for the mining museum's volunteers, I'm going to move our faces over here. Excuse me. We have volunteer handbooks for the last couple of years. We'll have a new one coming out pretty soon that's going to be a double volume It's going to have one volume that's about artifacts. And so that'll tell the story of some of the artifacts we have. So that should be pretty cool. And we have a couple videos here. We have a sample Nederland Mining Museum tour video, and I think Kate did that several years ago. So one of these days, we're going to need to update that. And we have an Assay Office Museum tour video, and that's an old one too, so we'll need to update that as well. And so those are some mining museum items to take a look at and to review, especially before you start helping again, since it's been a little while before we've each done this, We have some research here to take a look at. For critter caretakers, probably some of these documents about animals might be kind of cool. They were done by volunteer Dwayne Bronagle, and he really likes to do research, Dwayne does. And so these talk about different kinds of characteristics of those sorts of animals. So, you know, if you really get attached to the chickens or the pigs or whatever, and you want to know more about them and about some weird behaviors they might have, you might look here and see if you can find something about that. So. Let's see. We also have here cultural history articles from Images Magazine. And I think, Peggy, I think you've been working on an article or two. And I think maybe Joe did too. And so, you know, some of those articles of the past that, you know, have come out in the past are here about different kinds of local history tips. So you might take a look and see there's more articles about history than we thought once we started looking at them. And you might see if there's something that interests you to read or to research further, maybe to talk about on a tour or sometime, you know, to discuss and to know. And of course, we've got Walker Ranch information here. And we've got some documents about Discover. So signing up to lead a tour is on here. I think it's probably PowerPoint slides that kind of circle things and show you what to do and where to go. And then also site visits. And the tour would be the same as when we looked at the calendar to sign up. The tour would appear on the calendar on a certain date, and you would sign up with the volunteer button that way. And then site visits. I don't know much about site visits. Peggy, have you used that in gardening?
No, no.
Okay. I think that might have been kind of a dream that we had of using that. I don't know if it has worked out. So we'll just keep site visits on hold. I don't know what that is for us. So it might not have worked out. So, and then we also have other videos. We have our Cultural History Corner videos that we made during the pandemic. And I think Peggy's in a few of those. And we have our Cultural History Program videos too. Some of the things like, you know, this might be featured on there someday. So we might all be on that video, you know, in that category one of these days. We'll see. And something that I kind of like about this page and that Jim and I insisted go here was a link about weather. And so weather in the various areas where our sites are and we volunteer, you can kind of see what to expect. And we can see today that we might want to be in Nederland because it's only 77 and there's some clouds. So, you know, we might rather be in Nederland today since it's a little bit warmer in Longmont and Boulder. So that might be the place.
I have to say it's very comfortable up here today. Sorry, not to rub it in, but.
Right. And then it has my contact information and Jim's as well, so that you can round us up and get a hold of us. So, all right. Is there anything else you guys would like to ask about this or about Discover?
I think the site visit is, Jim told me you can go back and look at your shifts that you already done.
Okay, maybe that's what that is. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what that is. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I will go, I know we had the question about how people find out about things. I'm going to see if it'll, oh, it took it away. Okay. I was going to see if it would let me share the bouldercounty.org page. I'll pull it up and I'll go there so that we can see how to find out about public events. Because that way, Joe, you can bring Declan and Emily and pick out a whole bunch of things for them to do. So, all right. Let me do share screen. Here's that page, I hope. Okay. So if we go to bouldercounty.org, there's a bunch of categories about all of the different departments. But we go to open space and recreation. And then we'll go to activities and events to find out what's going on. What can we do to keep those kids busy? All right, it has a picture here, and I'm pretty sure this right here is Blair, volunteer Blair. I think that's the back of Blair, and that hike that was being led by one of our seasonals, but I'm not sure, but it looks like Blair to me.
Yeah, it is.
And here are calendars, and here are different things you might want to take a look at. So there's lots of them, but we'll go back up here. We'll go to hikes and events calendar. Click on that. All right, and June comes up, and here it does show us some things that we can do. And I think, gee, tonight is catfish night. I think that sounds good.
Yeah.
Take a look at that. Let's see where it takes us. Okay, it opens up a little window that tells us a little bit more and where it is. So let's go even to more info. All right. Oh, it tells us a little bit more. And then even a little more yet. Oh, it gives us a map and everything. Okay. So if I wanted to register for that, let's see here. I'm kind of afraid that Michelle's going to think I'm coming to that tonight, but I'll see what happens. All right, hit register. All right, then it takes me to Discover. And since I'm already logged in, it has everything ready to go. If I wasn't logged in, it would take me to the login page and have me log in or make an account. So again, it tells me that event, a little bit about it. It asks me about registering, how many people are going to come along with me. And then I get to select the number, I get to choose the number, and then I can, hit register or I can hit cancel. So then it will let you register for that. So let's see here. All right. I will stop sharing because it's going to make me stop sharing probably anyway. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else that you can think of? We might not know the answer, but Rachel and I will try. And we probably won't make up something. So.
Has I know David has used Discover have this year already to sign up for some shifts. Have you guys had any experience this year yet with Discover? No, I don't think much has changed, right, from previous years. It's more just that we've had the 15-month break,
Right.
or so.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had some time off. So yeah.
Sometimes I go in there and just fiddle around with it just to get familiar with it.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the best way to kind of mess around with it. And then
Yeah, measure.
yeah, and then somehow, if you hit the wrong thing and you're like, oh my gosh, really,
Yeah.
you can let us know, or there's usually a way to fix it. And so, or you can say, hey, I signed up for this thing and I didn't mean to, and I don't know what to do. Let us know. It's okay, because the best way is to kind of go in there and kind of mess with it and see what there is. And, a few days ago, that's what I did to kind of get ready here, was to kind of take a look and see, what might I want to know, and just kind of see what, how to do things again, because it's been a little while for us all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was my experience. It worked about the same as, I think the same as last year, but I had to hit a few wrong clicks first before I discovered that.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good, everyone. And I am
Hey,
going
good. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah,
one of these
it'd
days.
be good to be back with the animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be good. All right. I'm going to stop our recording